it's a bit concerning, no doubt, to members of the PDP itself, but then also to the a larger society. First of all, that PDP is in the race at all. As you know, this is not an easy thing. There are people who are blaming the state of the country on the party when it was in power, leading up to the situation of the change of government through election. And now to come back in this way, I don't know the extent to which you can rely on quotes that are put out there, but it is reported that some eminent literary person has said that if the matter is coming to the extent of asking the PDP through the election, through the vote, to come back, then we have a serious problem. Now, with that kind of an atmosphere out there, it would seem to me that Governor Wike's temperament and feeling right now about this whole matter, it really should be making people apprehensive. Although he's also cited to be a die-hard party man and is not about to leave. Hey, but the man is flesh and blood. Give me your sort of prognosis, what you think in that regard, because Wike has consistently said that he is not being addressed appropriately. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has said that it is his prerogative to make a choice, and he has made it. So you can't put two people there, as you just indicated a bit earlier.
I want to beg the media through you.
Yes, okay.
Stop making this issue a Wike issue. I have asked oftentimes, by what magic do so many governors lie behind him? It is extremely infantile and ridiculously arrogant to reduce what they are saying to one individual. After all, he's not the only one saying it. If Wike has taken on the baton to be the leader of a particular tendency, is it all about him alone? Or is Wike responsible for Tom? Is he responsible for all the others? What about the very strong agitation around the Southern Bloc? On my honor and my life, I don't speak to Governor Wike. I've spoken to him only once in life to go and beg him on behalf of the party. Before someone starts saying that Wike has sent themselves to go and talk. Will I be 24 years in this party, never leaving when they jump and not have some strong views as to how things are going? I believe the earlier all sides realized that it is better to listen with the intention to understand than to listen with the intention to argue. After all, there are over 200 million Nigerians that are waiting to be rescued. And it wouldn't really matter how the election, who wins. What is more important is the quality of the conversation that helps the Nigerians to take a decision and how people are behaving in public space. Without missing word, you need to look at our rivals, and we need to look at ourselves.
Okay.
Are there not some issues that they are also managing within? What is wrong with us?
Indeed. That is the question that I imagine the PDP is asking itself. And I take the point you're making, that, look, Governor Wike, he's one man. He's an important member of the PDP. But it's like what you're saying is that he isn't solely the PDP, even though he has his issues. And you are saying people shouldn't be tracing this crisis of a sort, as you put it, to just the one man. Are there other factors then, apart from Governor Wike, for example, which you've said that people should just put in the proper perspective, the whole matter of PDP not being willing to or ready to listen to itself, that seems to be your plank, that, look, let's talk sincerely among ourselves, with respect among ourselves. That is what, if I get it right, you seem to be saying is missing within the PDP.
if any side considers itself to have been victorious in an election contest, those who know and ought to know will agree with me that the bigger attention, probably even pampering, bending backward over to beg and accommodate, must be to those who maybe have aggrieved. Because the man who won will go home clapping. His family members will be rejoicing with him. There has to be an effort to make sure that the man who came short now does not go home gloomy. And to add insult into injury, you can't be acting as if we have won an election that the vote has not been casted. If it was only down to us, and Nigerians did not have other places they can consider,
okay,
can you imagine how frustrating it will be for the country? The citizens will be asking themselves, are these the people that want to manage us? When they cannot manage themselves. That exactly is the issue.
So
and I thought that it
therefore,
is best for posterity's sake that I try to speak some truth to us, that if at all there is still a modicum of decency, they will be able to do what is right.
yeah, and that, you know, I was going to ask what your assessment is of the chances of the party in this very important electoral year, 2023, given the lie of the ground as you see it. I can't imagine that you're a minority in your party with, you know, what you've shared. So given that, given the lie of the ground there, let me ask you for your honest assessment. If things don't change along the lines that you've just said, the offended, shouldn't people be leaning over backwards to make sure that they are accommodated if that is not an important issue within the PDP? And if it isn't addressed, what would be your honest assessment if we carry this kind of an attitude into, well, let me say, alleged attitude, because maybe all of PDP doesn't agree with you, I don't know. But if we carry this into next year, what is your honest assessment as to the chances of the PDP?
Yuri, let me say it this way. I have done the metrics for myself. And I've even assumed that we are back to where we used to be. That means that everybody is on board and we are all cushy-mushy with ourselves. Because I know the traditional states PDP wins. The traditional place APC wins. The states that PDP win once in a while. The states that APC wins but not with big margin. I tell you again, it's not a very simple election, no matter how you call it. And therefore, I imagine, how can a people not see that these elections are not as easy if their argument is that, oh, Nigerians are frustrated? Aside the election in Osun, which other time the election has PDP won? And even the one in Osun, by what magic did the frustrated people, so to speak, dash APC 300,000 votes? We need to smell the coffee. But you know, thankfully, when the contest starts, nobody is going to hold Atiku responsible for the failings of Jonathan. He will have to come with his own ideas of how he wants to do it. And therefore, by the same inference, nobody would truly hold Bola Tinubu responsible for the failings of probably even Buhari. Each of them will be given a clean board. And they will have to speak to what they are going to do and how they are going to do it. And what betide the both of us if the energy of the Nigerians organically propelling Obi becomes the status quo on the day? Never eliminate any possibility. Elections are a residual decision-making event. And ultimately, the people will have to decide. And I don't expect anybody not to get the message. And therefore, I want to beg Governor Wike and all persons around you, we have labored much for this party in the years of trial. Please, bed banquet over. And I want to speak to my people, Waziri Atiku Abubakar and our own side. We are not yet in the villa, and we are not going to enthrone a king. It is politics. And negotiation accommodation must be allowed. Wike is much younger. He has more energy. Are you going to say because he has energy that means he's talking rubbish? It's like saying because I have a lot of energy, I'm talking nonsense. You must listen with the intention to hear. Nothing is not agreeable. You can't insist that you are not going to concede nothing and expect the others to come in like they are your slaves. Politics is not done that way. Not at the local level, not at the state level, and certainly not at the national level.
So, in a word, Segun, the impression I'm getting is that you're actually accusing your party of complacency at the highest levels where decisions are made, and this could be dangerous. Sorry? Say that again.
Larceny and complacency.
Okay. And, I mean, you can imagine what that would mean if any party, if any house were to go into a serious contest with that hanging over its head.